Yeah, the game kicks off. Again, a play 2 minutes in where their player without contact gets injured, which is unfortunate, horrible for him. But it also just kind of takes the steam out of the game. So it just creates a little bit of a disjointed start right off the bat where everybody stops, the player's down. It's probably a significant injury. But nevertheless, it got going again. We created some good attacks, some good chances. I don't remember the chronological order of our chances relative to their goal, but we had some really good chances either to get up 1-0 or to equalize, one of the two. Vic has a great header from just a few yards out that ends up at the feet of the goalkeeper. A couple others that slipped by. And then, as would have it, Reynoso picks up the ball as he overloads wide like he does all game. And I just felt like the on-the-ball defending was just way too lax and soft. And we've seen this guy bury shots from outside the box on us too many times. And it's really the one thing we talk about all week is not allowing him to get back to his left foot when we have him out wide. Gets back to his left foot, and of course, as it has it, he picks out the upper corner. So it's still a great shot, so you have to applaud him, but it's just too casual defensively against a player that is special and has a special left foot. So now we're down a goal. Again, I think after that, we probably create a few more chances to equalize that we don't finish. And then for me, the red card is just diabolical, honestly, for a number of reasons. One is the keeper spills it, our player is running in. Even if there's contact, our player is trying to get out of the way, and he has a goalkeeper diving headfirst at his feet when he's moving at speed. That is not traditional goalkeeping. What is a guy supposed to do when the guy dives headfirst at your feet and you're running at 20 miles an hour? What are you going to do? You have only so much time. And if they go back to VAR and do it with discretion, not because someone in the league office said we have to red card those situations, which is what I understand, is he has to red card based on what he told me. If he uses discretion as an experienced referee who's been in this league for, 20 years, 18 years, he has to see that there was very little to nothing there. And certainly our player wasn't leaving a foot, and I saw a video from all angles, is certainly trying to get out of the way. There was no intention. And red cards change games. Now you're at 10. I felt like we didn't manage the situation great, maybe a little shocked. I didn't even know, I was so shocked that he was walking off the field. I didn't even think he was gonna get a yellow card because it was not even that to me. So I don't know, maybe the player's a little shocked. After that, we don't manage some situations. In terms of defensively, we let them get from one side to the next, and we get ourselves a little bit stretched out. They whip balls back across. We just don't defend well, and that's the second part of the first half, and we find ourselves down 3. We come in at halftime, sort of reorganize our defensive responsibilities, if you will. Talk about how we can try to initiate and get some pressure on the ball, that tried to not be in a defensive block the whole time. And the guys were fantastic. I thought, as I said to them, since coming back on the break, that second half was everything that we grew to expect from ourselves when we went into the break. And the one takeaway from this game is that sensation has to be present every time we step onto the field from minute 1, as it was in the games where we played our best soccer, because that was arguably some of our best soccer too, and down a man. But it starts by the energy, the effort, the intention, the speed at which guys were going to close the ball down and close players down. It set the tempo and the tone for us, and then I thought we had intention when we had the ball. It wasn't just passing the ball around because we knew we were numbered down, and we were a little bit more decisive in our attacks. To be fair to our guys, they created enough chances to get back into this game earlier than the 90th minute. So I was proud of the second half of the response. Disappointed in the situation. But sometimes that happens in the season, you have to deal with it. But unfortunately, our takeaway for today has to be that the commitment, the energy, the effort, even the guys that came in off the bench, I thought every guy who touched the field today had the right mentality as we got going into the second half and so on.
As we've seen throughout the league, VAR is supposed to rectify maybe situations like this. fact that it didn't give the head referee a second view at it, right? A chance to sort of maybe take a breath and look at it. What does that mean?
So what I would ask to everyone is, does VAR even matter if the mandate says this? If that is in fact the case, which is what I was told from the fourth official, from everybody, is it's a mandate that this has to be a red card. So VAR is irrelevant in that situation. They don't even have a discretion. They don't have an opinion. They don't have any experience. It's irrelevant. It's a red card. That's what I was told, because there was no indication from them that they felt that it was clearly and obviously a red card or anything. That's what we're supposed to do. I don't know how that happens, because I just don't know how every situation in soccer, I'm told, is different. So when I talk to the referees or I write and I give them a situation, you can't compare it to another situation because that situation is different, the context is different, you don't know all the details. Well, that's what the referee's for, is to be able to assess all those details. I just don't understand how that plays out. Right, and I'll be obviously asking those questions, and I hope I can get some clarity, because it's hard when guys are on the field and things happen. All 40 players plus the officials are there to play out the game as the game happens on the field, and that's what needs to happen. I don't know how it ended up differently.
And with Costa at the end there, with the, I guess, the double yellow for Minnesota and then the red card on Costa, extracurricular activities after the whistle, I guess. What do you take away from that? Have you seen any replays on any of that?
I haven't seen it. I don't know exactly if it was the play itself right at the end, or if it was something beyond that. So because VAR was involved, I would guess it was probably more associated with the action that happened right at the end of the game. At the end of the day, we don't need to get ourselves in that situation. The game was over. We need to be prepared and be responsible and get to the next game.
Hey, Greg, we talked in the offseason how the start of these games, you guys are a little lax somewhere from the start, from the open goal. It's still a process with this group to sort of get them?
No, it's not a process. It's going to be accountability. Now, processes are done. It's accountability. We need 11 guys stepping on the field ready to compete from the first whistle, and if somebody fails to do that, they will come out, and somebody else will come on. I think there's enough depth in our group now, enough competition in our group, and the guys know enough about what we're all trying to do. We've seen it now from our group on a number of occasions, and now it's for guys to be reliable and to step out on the field, and collectively, all of us, from myself to everybody, it's to step onto the field and do their job at the highest level of intensity, highest level of concentration, and attention to detail. Not always will we perform perfectly. Some guys will make mistakes, things like that. But again, the level of intensity and the work and the concentration on the details that we talk about and work on through the week have to be present, because we can be a very, very good team when we do that, and we can be a very vulnerable team when we don't. And that's been too often.
Your thoughts on Daniel Geary to start?
Very, very. I'm proud of Daniel. It's his first start. He put in a wonderful shift against one of the more difficult players in the league to play against, because Reynoso is very, very clever about where he goes. Obviously, being next to Mark and having him back and having him in good physical fitness, Mark is helpful. But I thought Daniel had a very solid game and acquitted himself well on the day. And I could probably get into details, but I'd have to go back and watch. But I thought he put in a great shift.
One last one.
Hi, Greg. How you doing? So Costa made his return to action today. Red card not included. How did you feel about his performance?
I thought he looked like he was at a different speed than he has been all year. I thought he looked sharper. I thought physically he looked better. I've been saying that, since he's been. We took a couple steps back to try to work on some things with him in our medical department and some people to work on some deficiencies that were present. That were leading to some of the injuries, but also I felt just were hampering him in terms of the speed at which he was sometimes working on the field. I felt like he just physically wasn't looking right, and as we dove into that more, spoke with him, and put him in front of some specialists and different things. We identified some things that we certainly needed to attack and improve upon, which also would make him less vulnerable to some of these little hamstring issues and these little muscular things that he was having. So he's been working hard over the last 3-4 weeks to try to improve upon those things. And I thought he came on the field and he had a higher level of intensity, a higher level of speed. I thought there was more decisiveness in his actions. I think getting connected to the team now and continuing to build his relationships with guys on the field and playing at speed and understanding what he's going to do in certain moments and what other guys should be doing when he has the ball. Just some of those things have to continue to come off, but I appreciated his just the level of intensity he came on with to try to help impact the game and try to help the team to get something going on the field, and also to push his fitness. You know, what I asked him is, if you come on for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, I don't want you to take your foot off the gas. I just want you to give everything you have for those minutes, and if that's how fit you are, then that's fine. Then next time we'll go 40 minutes and just push yourself as hard as you can for 40, and we'll just keep building. But I don't want him managing himself through stretches of games. I want him just to put it all out on the field, and we'll build his fitness up, his match fitness, one game at a time if that's what we have to do. So I thought he came on and at least put on a solid shift.
Hey, Greg, one more.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about, the transfer windows open up, there's 1 player, 2 players. Do you think any more than that?
I don't, actually. I don't. I think, and I don't think it realistically, I don't know that we could even accomplish much more than that. So for me, a couple players I think will make one player, I think in particular, can make a hefty impact on our group. I think a couple players could make a big impact. The other thing we need to get the guys that we have, getting Douglas to maximum speed and getting him out there contributing will be helpful. If we can get him working consistently and able to perform game after game, it will be like a new signing, because he wasn't able to impact many of the games up to, in the early part of the season, because he just was stop-start so much. It was difficult. So I think getting him back on the right track, I think getting our guys consistent. Look at this, in this window since we come back from the break, Markey has been sideways with the issues he was dealing with. Ryan injured himself before the Sacramento game and just plowed through it, but he hasn't. Yesterday was the first day he's trained in 3 weeks. So we need to get our group healthy, back together, and like I said, we saw the rhythm that I think we built in the tail end of the last stretch and into this stretch. And once everybody's ready, there's going to be real competition to see who's going to be on the field and out there playing. And then hopefully we can be consistent with that. So I think a couple additions 1 to 2 additions will help this group, and then getting everybody physically back to the form that they need to be in will help this group.
Thanks, guys.
Yep. Thanks.
Yes, I've seen it back as well on the replays, and Kevin's clearly trying to jump out of the challenge. We all know what Kevin is like as a player, and he's not the type to leave anything in there. So it's like the contact is so minimal. Personally, whenever that happens to me, I expect some sort of contact somewhere, and usually when that happens, I probably don't react even that much, and we just carry on in the game. The goalkeeper, obviously, I don't know if it hurt him or not, but it just kind of creates a little bit of a decision to make in the referee's mind. And to be honest, I think that should get overturned. I'm sure the club will look at it and the referees will look at it, but he's clearly trying to jump out of the way. And the ref also said something about any contact on the goalkeeper is a red card, which, again, I'm a goalkeeper, so I should know that before the start of the season, and I never heard that, and none of us heard that. That was not communicated to us as a rule for the start of this season. And
have you ever experienced that so far leading up to this game, where you've had contact?
I've had loads of contact. Yeah, I've had loads of contact in those situations. The ref says, "Are you okay? Do you need physio?" I'm like, yes or no, and then we just carry on. It's really a baffling decision. And then really from that point on, there were some interesting decisions after that as well.
When we look at this game, ultimately this was a game that perhaps gets you guys back on track, right? A Minnesota team that's struggling a little bit coming in, you guys struggling a little bit coming in as well. The red card goes against you guys, you give up 3 goals in the first half. What what does that mean for this team?
I think the first half, as much as when we're walking in and everyone's booing and it's a disaster, we're just not good enough, including myself, everyone, to a man, just not good enough, red card aside, for us to kind of rally and then come out in the second half, win the second half 2-0, actually looked like we could draw the game. And maybe if we'd scored a bit earlier, draw the game, maybe even try and win it from 3-0 down is something positive that we can take. It's just at the moment we're getting punished, and we had some chances that we didn't convert, could have changed the game. But yeah, we're in a bit of a moment where I need to show some character for sure.
You said punished. You also feel a little bit unlucky.
I personally don't. No, I don't feel like we're. I think the red card today was a bit unlucky. That I will say, but I don't think we can just after the last few games just sit and say, "Oh, we're unlucky." We need to be better. The fans let us know that at the end of the game, but we already knew it. I think how do we change it now? We just look at what ourselves are doing. I'm just going to worry about myself, what I'm doing, how can I be better, and then try and help the team. I just think that we need to. We've got a good thing is we've got another game on Monday, so it could be a quick turnaround, a chance to react, hopefully we can put it right.
Jonathan, what do you feel like galvanized the team in the second half to have you guys find 2 goals?
I don't know, it's a bit of a theme for us where sometimes maybe if we go down a goal or 2, suddenly then we start really fighting and playing, and really we should be doing that from the first whistle. And I don't know what it is about the start of games for us, but we need to find that intensity from the first whistle in the first half. It's something we've talked about as well. When we go 1-0 down, can we stop the tide of the game? And can we turn it around? There's probably not been enough times over the 18 months, even last season, where we go 1 goal down and turn it around. So the fact that we reacted like we did in the second half actually is it was a big positive for us to take, because we had that feeling and that intensity. We left the field with that, and hopefully we can just take that into the next game now as the standard.
That's what my next question was. Why is Greg has talked about it. The start of the game, you guys are either you feel you guys come out laxed or just off the pedal a little bit?
I wish I had an answer, because we talk about it. We train well. We go into the game. I can tell everyone's really up for it, and everyone's minds are in the right place. And then just small but important things happen in the game, and then bang, we find ourselves maybe a goal down, and it's hard to explain or find like a clear reason. If you're in a situation like that and you don't have an answer for something specific like that, the only thing you can do is just train harder, train more, don't let it affect you. I mean, that is really the only answer we can do. And now we've got 3-4 days before the next game where it's just about getting our heads down, training, working hard, so that we know that when we do go out on the pitch, whatever happens in the result, we know, right, okay, we've trained 3-4 days brilliantly before the game, we've left everything out there in the game, and then, okay, if we're unlucky, but most of the time if you play well and you have that standard, then you'll win the game.
I was gonna ask about just Douglas Costa and him coming on. How positive is it to see him have that effect on the game, since he's been missing so many games?
Yeah, it's a big positive for us. We need our DPs. DPs help you win games. So the longer we can get him on the field, the better for us. We know that it affects the opposition as well. If we have a DP that's really strong and can win you games out of nothing, then kind of changes the dynamic of the game. I also thought Efra, when he came on, was brilliant and helped change the game too, but at half time. So I think Douglas in the last couple of days in training as well has looked so sharp and has been working really hard, and he's a good guy as well. So if we can get him firing and get him scaring the opposition, then it kind of gives us a whole new dynamic.